there's a job teaching German at a junior college, and he'd like to recommend me. And I said, but I've never studied German grammar, because I had chemistry majors had to take German, and after the first class in German 1, I went to the professor and said, I was born in Germany and I speak German. And so he sent me to the head of the department, and we spoke, and he said, well, you can take any course you want. So I took, I took literature the first year and poetry the second year, and the chemistry majors had to take scientific German. So I took all that German but never learned grammar. And so he said, well, you can study it this summer. And then I said, but in the meantime, I had decided to go on. I had a teaching fellowship at Smith College. So I went there from 1940 to 42, and I studied half-time and taught half-time. I helped the organic chemistry professor. I taught the organic chemistry lab, and I helped in the freshman lab. And when she was out of town, I taught the organic chemistry class. And so I got a master's degree in chemistry, and then it was wartime. So the men were being drafted, so this vice president of a company called Celanese Corporation in Cumberland, Maryland, went around to women's colleges interviewing women chemists. And so I was one of 5 or 6 that they hired. So that in June of 1942, I ended up in Cumberland, Maryland, as a chemist in the main lab, and I was introduced to, I don't know, about 70 guys. And so I worked there, you know, because the men were going off to war, and Celanese made this wonderful parachute fabric called Ninon. It was cellulose triacetate, I think. And our job was to, you know, and we had a couple of Army men stationed there to check, I guess, quality control. And we also made explosives, you know, for the war. And so one of the 70 men that I was introduced to was my future husband, Tom Conlon. And I think one noon, one of the girls wanted to go to lunch, and I said, oh, I can't go yet, I have to finish this test. And he came over and he said, I'll finish it for you. And I said, no, thank you, I do my own work. and so anyway, we started dating. And anyway, we got married the day after Christmas of 1942. Wasn't that fast work? But since then, I've heard of some faster work, because a lady in my church, her parents met on November 12th, 1937, and they talked. He drove 4 ladies down to Atlantic City to a teachers' conference, and they had just met, and she was sitting next to him in the car, and they talked, and on November 14th, the 3rd day, he proposed. And that Thanksgiving they were engaged, and by December 2nd, he was on his way back to British East Africa, where he was from, and she was to finish her teaching job that year and go to Africa and get married, and it really happened. So my husband wasn't such a fast worker after all. Let's see what else. I don't know. I'm just rambling.